Okay, this is TML, folding the elbows and knees and the ease of bending. So find a spot on the ground to lie on your back. Remember to find somewhere that's comfortable. You can either lie on a mat, a yoga mat, or this is a moving blanket, but you can use a blanket or a mat or even do it on the carpet. But you want something that's a little bit more firm, because firm contact you can feel more. So with a little bit of a firmer, harder surface, you can feel more. So now just lie on your back. And first of all, just get a sense of how you're lying. So take a moment and take inventory. And we do this always because we can notice changes, right? So you can feel how you're lying now. You can feel how your body feels, how your back feels, how your legs and arms feel at the beginning, and then you'll feel them again at the end of the lesson. And this just gives you a good place to come from for comparing to notice changes. So just feel how your back's lying on the floor. Feel how your two heels are making contact with the floor. The two lower legs, the upper legs into the hip joints. Feel how your pelvis is lying on the floor. And feel the length of your spine, right from the tip of your tailbone through your sacrum and pelvis, through your lower back, your middle back, your upper back, through your neck to the base of your head. And now bend your two knees, put your feet standing, and take your right hand and put it behind your head and put it in at the place on your skull where your skull makes contact with the floor. So you're not putting your hand behind your neck, but you're putting it directly behind your head on your skull. Take your left hand and with the thumb together with the rest of the other fingers, grab hold below your right knee. And now what you're going to do is you're going to start with a very small movement, but you're going to begin taking the right elbow toward the right knee and the right knee towards the right elbow. But it's not about touching the two together. This is about folding the spine. So just start with a very small movement and then come back. And each time you come back, let your elbow fall back out to the side. And then when you start the next movement, you bring your elbow back up towards the ceiling. And again, bring the elbow to the knee and the knee to the elbow. And just start with a very small movement. And you progressively get a little bit bigger and bigger, but make sure you're going very slow and very gentle, making sure you're using subtlety. And feel the length of your spine. So think of the length of your spine from the tip of the tailbone right up into the neck. And just see if you can feel your spine lengthening. If you can think of your spine lengthening when you do this movement. So the two ends of the spine are moving away from each other as you do this. And now let go of your right knee, and with your left hand now grab hold below your left knee. Again, thumb with the rest of the fingers. And now direct the right elbow to the left knee and the left knee to the right elbow. And again, start with a small movement and then come back down. And start each new movement fresh, right? So you're beginning it from scratch. Bring the elbow to the knee and the knee to the elbow. And remember, it's not about touching. If you feel at any point you're straining or you're shaking, you start shaking, like your abdominal muscles start shaking, you're doing too much. You really want to make this movement easy. Notice what you're doing with your breathing. Feel if there's something you can do with your breath. Try breathing in as you fold, and then the next time try breathing out. And which one is easier for you? Make sure you're going nice and slow. Always come back, use slow. And then let go of your leg, lengthen both legs, bring your hands out, lengthen both arms, and just rest. So these movements that we're doing in this lesson is really about folding. And it's about letting the ribs squish down, letting your sternum move, tucking your chin, and lengthening the spine in rounding. So as we continue here, make sure you're softening in the chest. And what I mean by that is, if you're doing the movements and you're doing them and they feel hard, or you're really efforting, you're really putting a lot of effort into them, it's counterproductive, because you'll just learn to do the movements with more effort. You'll just force through it. We don't want to do that. We want to retrain and relearn our movement patterns here and make folding really easy. And so to do that, do less. Always do less. If you feel like you're doing too much, you probably are doing too much, and cut the movement in half. So now, come back, bend both knees, put both feet standing. And now we're going to switch the arms. So now your left hand is behind your head. Put your left hand behind your head. And your right hand is going to go below the left knee. And now you're going to start with a small movement again. Always start with a small movement. Direct the left elbow to the left knee and the left knee to the left elbow, and then come back. And this time, really pay attention to your foot, your other foot, the standing foot, your right foot. How can you help? Can you roll your pelvis up just slightly to help with this movement, to round your spine, right? So your pelvis will go into flexion, you'll round, the head, the chin tucks, the whole spine goes into a C shape, it rounds. And remember your breathing. Make sure at any point, if you feel, again, that effort coming in, forget it, do less. Always do less. Make the movement nice and easy, nice and comfortable. And pay attention. Feel your back and how the contact of your back changes and shifts on the floor as you do this movement. Feel the chest folding down, the ribs folding down. Now just switch over your knees. Now grab your right knee with your right hand, thumb together with the rest of the fingers. And now direct the right knee to the left elbow and the left elbow to the right knee. And again, make sure you're doing a small, easy movement. And if you touch them together, that's great. If you don't touch, that's also great. It's completely not about touching. This is all about folding and ease of movement, comfort of movement. Feel that contact shifting on your back. Feel the ribs folding down. Feel the back of your neck lengthening as you do it. So the distance between the back of your skull to the base of your neck gets longer. And then rest. Let go of everything. Let your legs lie long. Let the arms lie long. And just take a rest. And just for a moment, take inventory again of your body. Feel how your back is lying on the floor. Feel how your legs are lying. And now, come back, bend both knees, put both feet standing. Interlace your fingers and put your interlaced hands behind your head. And remember to put your hands directly at the spot on your skull where your skull was making contact with the floor. And now, you're going to bring your two elbows up towards the ceiling together. And then slowly you're going to lift the right knee up. So you're going to detach the right foot from the floor. The left foot is still standing. And now start with a small movement and bring the right elbow to the right knee and the right knee to the right elbow. As you breathe, help with your other foot. Feel how you push through your other foot and help bring the knee and elbow together, the right knee and the right elbow. And remember, it's not about touching. You do not have to touch. Actually, see if you can honestly just not touch for the first few times. And then you can touch at the end if it's easier after you've done a few movements. And feel your breathing. Feel how actually breathing out makes the movement easier because it allows your ribs to fold down more. Expelling air. And now direct the left elbow to the right knee. So now left elbow to the right knee to left elbow. You're not touching at the beginning. Remember, you're just feeling the folding. Don't go to the point where you shake. Feel how you can help with your left foot to roll the pelvis up. You actually detach the tailbone from the floor. The pelvis rolls up and you bring that left elbow to the right knee, a diagonal movement. Feel the flexion of the spine. And only when it's easy, then touch the knee and elbow together. Only when it's easy. And now lie long, rest for a moment, let your legs lie long, arms down by your side, and just rest. And don't change or correct your breathing, just feel how you're breathing organically without having any input. You're just feeling how you breathe. Don't change how you breathe, just feel. And now bend the knees, put the feet standing. Now interlace your fingers in the non-habitual way. So you're going to, if you don't know what that is, just you interlace your fingers without thinking and then move them all over one notch. So you shift them over one notch. And now put the fingers behind your head interlaced in the non-habitual way, elbows towards the ceiling. And now slowly lift your left leg away from the floor. Your right foot is still standing. And now direct the left elbow to the left knee and the left knee to the left elbow. And come back. Feel this time, really pay attention to the length of your spine. Think of your head moving away from you, getting longer, and think of your pelvic, your tailbone moving away. It's creating a bow with your spine, an arc. And so really feel that lengthening of the spine as you direct the left elbow to the left knee and the left knee to the left elbow. And it's not about forcing. With forcing, it's being counterproductive here because we're just learning to use more force. How can you help with the right leg? How can you help roll the pelvis up to help bring that left knee closer to the left elbow? And now switch sides. Now direct the right elbow to the left knee and the left knee towards the right elbow. And sorry, I forgot to mention, always come back and rest. You can keep your elbows directed towards the ceiling, but always let the leg back down and then start again. I don't think I mentioned that last time, but that's okay. And feel pressing through the right leg, flexion of the spine. We're trying to remap your movement patterns, making them easier, more comfortable, more flexible, more mobile. Again, really feel how the ribs and chest has to sink down. It's that movement of flexion. And now interlace your fingers in the normal way. So take them out and just interlace them again in the normal way. Put them behind your head at that same point where the skull meets the floor. Elbows together towards the ceiling. And this time, bring up both knees, so you detach both feet from the floor, kind of bring your knees towards your chest a little, but just have your lower legs hanging, dangling. And now slowly lift the head really slowly and direct your right elbow to your right knee and your left elbow to your left knee. And again, here, make sure you are not shaking. If you start noticing you're shaking and working really hard, you're doing way too much. This is about doing really easy flexion, what you can at this point. And feel that breathing out as you do it. So you breathe out as you bring both elbows to both knees, and also pay attention and imagine your spine getting longer each time you do it. And after each time you do it, rest. Bring the head back down, rest, and then restart. And then lie long and rest. Let your legs lie long. Let your arms down beside you. And rest. Take a few breaths. So remember that awareness is the agent of change. So just like if I were to, or you were to read a book, if you were to read a page in a book, and if your awareness wasn't on what was being said in the words, it would just go right over your head. You wouldn't absorb anything. It's the same thing with movements and changing brain maps. You have to really pay attention, and you have to use awareness in order for those brain maps, those new neural networks to start forming. So now, come back, bend both knees, put your feet standing. This time, turn your face to the left, take your right hand, put it over your left ear. And now, grab hold with your left hand, your right knee. So your left hand is on the right knee, and your right hand is on the left ear. And now, start slow, direct the right elbow to the right knee, and start with a small movement first, and make sure you're doing less. Make sure each time less is more. Remember that less is more here. Quality over quantity always. How can you help with that left foot to roll the pelvis up, to round the spine into a C, to drop down the chest and sternum. Bringing the right elbow towards the right knee. And it's not about touching. If you can touch, that's great, but don't force. And now switch over your hands. Keep the right hand still on your left ear. And now just take your left hand and grab the left knee. And now direct the left knee towards the right elbow and the right elbow towards the left knee. Slow it down to half the speed. Go even slower. And now take your hand out, bring your face back towards the ceiling, let your legs lie long and just rest. And now bend your knees, put your feet standing. Take your left hand this time. First look to the right, take your left hand, put it on your right ear with your face towards the right. Take your right hand this time and grab hold of your left knee and direct the left elbow to the left knee a few times. Start with a small movement. Feel the flexion of your spine. Feel how you can help with your right foot. Feel what you can do with your breath. Feel how you can make it comfortable. And even here, anytime we start a new variation, you don't have to touch the knee, right? Like I'm noticing for me, this side is a little bit more difficult. And so I do less. And now switch hands. So now take your right, or not switch hands, but switch knees, sorry. So you take your right knee within your right hand, and the left hand is still on the right ear with your face turned to the right. And now, direct the left elbow to the right knee a few times. And make it easy. Soften the chest. And then lie long, let everything go. Let your legs lie long, arms long beside you. And again, take inventory. Feel for you now if there is a change in the way your back is contacting with the floor. Feel if there is a change in the lower back, in the spine in between your shoulder blades. Feel even if the pelvis feels more flat. Maybe before you had a little bit of more lift on the right or on the left, and feel if it's just evened out a little bit for you. And now slowly bend both knees, put both feet standing. And just do the original movement. Take your right hand behind your head, left hand below the right knee, and direct the right elbow to the right knee. And notice if that's any easier. I can touch much easier my elbow to my knee, but just notice for you. What does that feel like? Do you feel how you're using your pelvis to help to roll up that pelvis to help move the leg? And then switch legs. Now do the left leg. Feel again if that's easier. I don't have to force, and feel do you have to force still, or is it easier now? Are you doing it with a lot less effort, and if it's a lot easier? And then switch over the hands. So now right hand behind right knee, left hand behind the head. Notice if this side's easier too. Do a few movements towards the right knee where your right knee comes to the left elbow comes to right knee. And now switch the knees. So you take your right hand below your left knee now, and now your left knee comes towards the left elbow comes towards the left knee. Does that feel easier? Do you feel those ribs sinking down more? Okay, end of lesson. So you can either rest on your back for a little longer, or just take your time, slowly roll through your side and come up into sitting. And then when you're ready, slowly come up into standing. And when you walk around, take some time and just feel in standing if standing feels any different for you. Thanks for joining me for today's lesson at Move to Thrive. I hope it benefited you in some way.